We are going to dive deep into what is inflammation and how Mediterranean lifestyle can help with keeping your cardiovascular system strong, to helping keeping your metabolic pathways really strong. So objectives for today, I felt really pulled to place this thought here by Benjamin Franklin, because it really resonates to what I believe and what I put forward in our classes. So it's not related to Mediterranean, but I really wanted to share with you guys. Tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I'll remember. Involve me and I will learn. So our classes here, they are lectures, but they are very interactive, but it's mostly this and this, right? So you forget some, you retain some, there are multiple classes, and when you come back, things that you have probably forgotten comes back again. But the small classes, small lessons that pop up in your apps, the actions that you do is actually involving you, and that's how you learn. It's learned by doing. 99% of us human beings want to experience and do things to be able to retain information. So I felt very strongly to put in here, and thank you for being here for my class today. So what are we planning for today? We'll review quickly what we have covered so far. We will explore what is inflammation and how does incorporating omega-3s, which is a very integral part of the Mediterranean way of eating, how does that help with calming down inflammation and help your cardiovascular system, your blood vessels to be really healthy and your heart to be really healthy. You will identify a few plant and animal based omega-3s, and then we will discuss some strategies for incorporating omega-3s as part of this Mediterranean framework that we are doing. Today's recipe in your recipe sheet is blueberry quinoa salad with lemon basil vinaigrette. I'm going to make this simple vinaigrette here. My objective is to give you a simple way of putting together a dressing with some very, very bioactive herbs, flavor and all of that, but get together like in 3 minutes, and then we will blend some lessons from the last week to this week's and put together this recipe. The other side is basically your omega-3 and omega-6 sources, and we will discuss that throughout our presentation today, right? And we'll quickly review this too as we move through our discussion. Sounds good? Okay, so what have we reviewed so far? In the first class, we reviewed about some blood markers to understand how healthy your heart and cardiovascular system is. There were 4 simple blood markers that we discussed. Anybody recall what are the 3 blood markers and then one another marker? There is no right or wrong, don't worry about it. Yes, number 1, exactly. What else will you look in your lipid panel?
HDL, LDL.
Yes, and
cholesterol.
yes, triglycerides. So HDL, LDL, triglycerides together make up your total cholesterol. There is a cute little equation there and you don't have to remember it. HDL is the good cholesterol, LDL is the not good one that you always want to keep it below 100. There were some blood marker numbers that we discussed, and LDL less than 100, HDL greater than 50, triglycerides to be less than 150. Those are the numbers that we discussed, and we walked away with this recommendation And this recommendation essentially tells us to include 7 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables in your daily routine. And believe me, that number is totally doable when you have this mindset of including colors in each of the meals, each of the snacks that you put inside your mouth. It also talks about, including seeds and nuts. And I'm sure by now we all have practiced putting in quarter cup of seeds and nuts. Again, those are high in omega 3s too. So you have already gotten a jump start on incorporating omega 3s. It also talks about including fish, which we will discuss today. But essentially, this type of eating pattern is very closely aligned to how Mediterranean eating pattern is, or lifestyle pattern is. And that's where we brought about this beautiful pyramid as a framework for us. The foundation of the pyramid is basically eating together. And when you eat together, what happens? You slow down actually. And that's why those practices of, taking 3 deep breaths, take, 5 minutes more to your timer, and just kind of slowing down and being in the moment, enjoying your food was brought up. Physical activity is very integral to that, to the Mediterranean eating pattern. And in the week after the first week, this was the introduction to Mediterranean way of eating. And in the last week, we actually concentrated a lot on plant power. The phytochemicals, remember that colorful handout that we reviewed? Today, we'll actually concentrate here and a little bit here, so that we can complete our repertoire of Mediterranean eating pattern. And next week it's going to be Mediterranean eating pattern even when you eat out. It is possible, and it will be curious to look at some of the menus and see how you can have your intention, attention and action aligned even when you enjoy a meal outside. So that's for next week. Sorry, I had to spill the beans about next week. So, so what we did last week was looking into the phytochemicals. These are powerful compounds that are available in plants. We discussed about fiber, we discussed about probiotics and prebiotics for your good gut bacteria. I forgot bringing kombucha today.
What?
Kombucha.
Drink kombucha.
Yeah. It's good. Did you buy it?
I looked at it and I said, I'm not going to buy it now because I'll forget if it's in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'll put it to the back and I'll forget it.
Yeah, I forgot to get it. Yeah, next time. Yeah, next time. I remembered it this morning, evening I forgot. So we looked at the categories of phytochemicals. These are some of the foods, the carotenoids, the polyphenols, the indols, the lignans, the curcuminoids. And recall, this is the handout that we discussed last time. The rainbow of colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, and some of the food sources, what protective compounds they have and what are the benefits. And you can see very clearly here that if you are including rainbow of colors as part of your eating pattern, you are protected in every way, right? It's heart healthy, it helps your vision, your skin health, your bone health, your joint health, and definitely protects against cancer. So, just overall, there is a lot of benefits by including plants, and 2/3 of the plate in Mediterranean eating way is actually plants. Plants, nuts, legumes, beans basically, right? And these are the probiotics and the prebiotics that we discussed last time. Kimchi, if you want to experiment with, there is $2 coupon in HEB, and I really love the spicy one. Not that you have to take the spicy one, they have the mild ones too. It's Cleveland Kitchen. It's just yummy to just add on the side, and it comes with prebiotics and probiotics. Kimchi is from Napa cabbage and it's fermented. So Napa cabbage is high in fiber. Because it's fermented, there is going to be those probiotics already there, and it really adds more flavor to your food. So kombucha, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, those are the probiotics, and the prebiotics are basically the fibrous foods, right? So garlic, asparagus, beans, onion, leeks, banana, oats, etc., right? So including those plants will bring in the fiber for the probiotics. That's their That's their food. And I did notice kombu. Do you remember the seaweed sheets? It is there in HEB. I did click a picture and I'll show you after the class. Okay, so it's there in HEB. This seaweed.
It's a dry leaf.
They sell those in containers now, right? Little, they're just like little flat sheets.
Yeah,
Rectangular.
yeah.
Them at Trader Joe's, right?
I know, but I thought it's not there in HEB, but it's there in HEB too.
They have it in
Yeah, you can actually cut a little bit and put it with your beans when you
Or just
cook.
snack on 'em.
You do? Is it kombu or it is a different
Oh, I
one?
don't know.
Okay. It could be a different one, right?
It's
Green,
it's green.
thin, very
I went
thin.
to Korea, and
It's
Korea sells
thin
them like
and
chips.
it's all
Yeah.
packaged. I mean, the package you get, you can buy one or you can buy a pack of 6.
A pack of 6.
Oh, I can't see that.
Kombu. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, so to
Oh.
reduce gas formation when you cook beans, because that's a general, I won't say a side effect. I think, as I said the last time, it's your good bacteria eating it and then saying thank you, because they love the fiber in that beans. And when you cook it with kombu, the digestive capability of beans kind of increases. Something.
Spicy or just plain?
It's okay.
I've never seen it like that, but I hadn't. They're just flat, thin, tiny sheets, right? And you just kind of place them in. You can just it kind of melts almost.
That's a different type. This one you cannot eat. It's a little thick.
Oh.
Yeah, and what you do is you will cook it with the beans and you will actually take it out.
Oh, okay.
Does it give it different flavor?
It does. When I researched, it seems they make dashi with it. It's more umami. It gives that umami flavor, but they'll actually boil water with kombu and then take it out and use that water to cook beans. So for us, to make it easier, we usually cook beans with water. So, put it inside it so that you can cook with it, kind of a thing. Something for, so these were the actions last week, which has been, from the first week onwards. Adding half a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to your meals. How have you been doing it?
I'm eating my nuts.
You're eating your nuts. Good job.
I'm right there with her. I eat nuts
All day. Good job. Good job. Yeah, and then, adding 5 more minutes to your meals, which means just calming down, like even seeing your meals and saying, oh, this looks colorful, or it smells nice. Those are still kind of slowing down and enjoying the food, moving your body in a way that works for you. That could be picking weeds, to just walking, to doing some squats or yoga or our Thrival classes, whatever works for you. And this last week, the action was adding one more color to your meals, right? So including that vegetables. So what is inflammation? What do you guys know about inflammation in our body?
Painful.
Swelling.
Yeah, swelling. So it's kind of a protective mechanism. If you look if you look from that point, it's a protective mechanism for your body. So it's a natural way for your body to protect you from any injury, from bacteria, from viruses, from any stressors, basically. So it's a natural immune response. It's your I look at it as the fire department that comes to your rescue, right, whenever there is a spark of fire. So they are, like the fire department or soldiers who come to clear out any unrest that is happening, but they are not supposed to be there forever. Right, they do their job and they need to kind of go back to their departments or to their places. So when they do not go back is when chronic inflammation happens, and chronic inflammation is the starting point for many of the heart diseases, including forming plaques, right, the atherosclerosis that happens, right? Even for blood pressure, what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is actually that blood flowing in that pipe which is exerting that pressure to reach all the cells. But if there is lot of pressure, it's actually hitting against the cells, right? And that can cause inflammation too. And that's why your providers are always asking, hey, keep your blood pressure in place, keep your blood pressure in place, because you don't want to contribute to that chronic inflammation. It's both ways. Chronic inflammation can lead to blood pressure, or high blood pressure can also lead to that inflammation. So it's both ways basically.
What is cholesterol then?
Cholesterol is something that your liver produces, and it's an integral part of your cell membranes. You need it to make hormones, you need it to make enzymes, it's there helping your eyes to see, it's part of your reproductive hormones. So cholesterol is actually an integral part of our body, we need it. But it's when the amount of cholesterol goes beyond a certain point, which is those numbers, it needs to be, total cholesterol needs to be less than 200. When it goes beyond a certain point, those are markers for us to see, there is something weird going in your body. Let's figure out what's happening, is what I would look at as a clinician, right? So when there is more cholesterol, especially that LDL cholesterol, that's when that LDL cholesterol can stick to the inner side of that pipe, like that, if you look at it as a lawn hose, it can stick to the inside of the pipe and then cause some inflammation and cause some plaque formation there, and you don't want it, right? But coming back to inflammation, you want those immune cells to come and clear off the debris, but you don't want them to be there forever and create a big wildfire, right? And that big wildfire will stay there forever, and you don't want that. You want inflammation to be, like that on-off switch. Switch on when there is a bacteria, a virus, an infection, an injury, or a stress, and then it needs to switch off, right? And there are ways we can assist our body to make it just an on-off switch and not make it a wildfire, right? Does that analogy make sense? On-off switch always helps, but you don't want that switch always on. You want that fire to be, put down once the job is done. Basically, the soldiers need to return to their home base, the fire department needs to go back to their office and not be there forever, basically, right? So chronic inflammation is evidence to lead, or to contribute to all the chronic diseases that we know. For us specifically, the cardiovascular disease, anything heart related, as I mentioned, atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you name it, inflammation is the underlying factor there. It does contribute to many of the metabolic disorders, including diabetes. One of the starting points for, diabetes is that inflammation, and it typically happens 10 years before your diagnosis, which means that it's in our power to be able to, handle it before even the fire happens, right? So diabetes, even cancer, the starting point for it is usually inflammation, unless it is genetically driven. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, inflammation, or that chronic systemic inflammation, CSI, is one of the contributing factors for many of the chronic diseases, right? So now, knowing that, inflammation is not helpful for us, what can we do to turn off that switch when the job is done? That's where, our phytochemicals, the plant foods, and omega-3s come to the rescue, right? So what we will do in the upcoming slides is understand what are omega-3s, what are they, why do we need to include it, which I mentioned, it's to make sure that your inflammation comes down. If there is any oxidative stress happening in your body, that needs to come down, and then we will see how can we incorporate it. of course through food, right? And some of my clients who are vegetarians, their providers give them fish oil. So that's another way, if you have a lifestyle choice of being a vegetarian or a vegan, you need to make sure that you're having fish oil as one of the ways to keep down your inflammation, right? So that said, in Mediterranean, it's ingrained here. Fish and seafood, that white meat, yeah, that's the protein source in Mediterranean eating pattern, and fish has the highest amount of omega-3s, and omega-3s are fatty acids. We will look at what are fatty acids, but fish has the highest amount of fatty acids. So if you like any variety of fish, bring it in. How many times? At least twice a week, and the recommendation is like 8 ounces in a week is what is recommended. Again, nuts and seeds also have omega-3s, right? But they have it in a different form. It's called ALA. We will look at it, but the idea is fish is your friend and nuts and seeds is your friend, okay? So that's the idea there. Today, different from my usual classes, I'm going to get started with cooking because I realized the last time I did not do justice with the beets because there is a dressing here and it needs to meld into the food basically. So I'm going to get started with it, and then as we go, we will talk through the other things too. Good? Okay. So today's recipe is blueberry quinoa salad with lemon basil vinaigrette. I already put things inside this, right? I have 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice inside this, 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, any variety you like, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, red wine vinegar, white vinegar, whatever you like, whatever you have in your home, that's totally fine. So 1 teaspoon of it, a small garlic clove, pardon my tongue, half a teaspoon of maple syrup, the actual maple syrup, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I love mustard. And there is a secret why most of the dressings have Dijon mustard. You want to hear it? So today, one of the greens that that I really love is arugula. 2 reasons. One, I don't have to smoothen it, meaning if I have kale, I have to use olive oil to massage it, or I need to saute it because I just can't eat it just like that. Arugula doesn't need it. 2, it is very peppery, right? And 3, it does have sulforaphane. Does it ring any? Yeah. Yes, yeah. So it does have sulforaphane in it. So I love it for all of that basically, right? And mustard has a compound called myrosinase. I'm sure you might think, hey, I have heard it somewhere. But myrosinase is actually there in the cells of the cruciferous vegetables. Myrosinase and glucoraphanin, that is the compound inside the cell walls of the cruciferous vegetables. So when you chew it or break it, glucoraphanin and myrosinase get together and produce sulforaphane, right? How wonderful Mother Earth is. She knows all the chemical reactions, right? She knows biochemistry, she knows, chemistry, organic chemistry and all of that. So mustard has it. So the idea is, say, you had kale in place of arugula, and say if you're like me and you don't like, kale like just like that, I would saute it a little bit even in my salads because I can't handle it. So when you saute it, there is a probability that that myrosinase kind of gets degraded. So when you add the Dijon mustard, you're actually adding back myrosinase, so that glucoraphanin and myrosinase in Dijon mustard can combine together and tada, produce sulforaphane. Right. So there is a reason why, each of these compounds go into a dressing. If you look at the biochemistry of why you do it, my goodness, it's so fascinating. Each of the foods actually speak to your genes in that at the gene level. That's the wonder of Mediterranean eating pattern, just because they include lot of herbs inside it. Okay. So that's a cool chemistry fact there. And I have 1 cup of fresh basil and salt and pepper, okay, to taste. I think I added salt and pepper, but we'll see. Do we have salt and pepper packets here? I think I added, but
If not, I may have some in the car.
no. There should be. Yes. Yes, thank you. To the rescue. Huh? Just one more packet of salt, please.
Is it only the Dijon mustard that has those? Like, I like the spicy mustard that's like mostly mustard seeds.
Yeah, go for it.
Has those.
Same, myrosinase.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Even the actual mustard seeds, I don't know, like in the Indian way of cooking, we actually use a lot of mustard seeds just like that, and it's usually the black mustard seeds. Totally, mustard seeds in any form is totally fine. So salt, one more salt, and then a little bit of pepper. Way to get creative and way to remember that maybe I didn't add it.
One thing with me right now, because of the chemo, I do not have any taste buds.
Oh,
They are shot.
yeah. Did you try that, what I messaged you?
Yeah, I haven't really put it together. It's quite honestly, this is what I'm gonna have to talk to you about.
Yeah, sure.
Is how to get the app. I'm lost there. I try to log in with the web browser and
It won't?
shoots me out.
Maybe.
It doesn't give me the option to sign up or register.
How did you then message me?
Why? I went to the mail. I mean, to the message. It says, "Do you want to use the web browser?" I clicked on that, and it just goes straight to the message. But if I'm out, trying to log in or trying to register, it won't let me because it doesn't give me that option.
Strange, later. And give it a nice. It's nice and creamy, a little bit more. Okay, so your dressing is ready. Let's look at the main ingredients. Arugula, a cup of blueberries, I think that's cup. You can put more. It's not going to, make or break anything. I want to be, and then 2 cups of arugula.
Is it true that you have to put a dash of lime or lemon or spinach to actually, for the chemical?
For the iron to be absorbed?
Yes.
Yeah, there are 2 types of iron. You're right. Heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron is in animal foods, which doesn't, it's naturally available and then it gets into our cells. But plant foods do have iron, but it's called non-heme iron, and that needs actually lemon. That's another reason why we add lemon in our dressings, because when there are greens, the iron in it needs to get bioavailable for our cells to absorb it. So yes, you're right. So yeah, thank you. Of cucumbers, and then quarter cup red onions. You know me, I don't like to cry cutting onions, so by the ones that are already made, how many? Quarter cup, right? A cup of onions, and then
Ooh, can we not put the feta?
yeah, you can. I have not bought it. Yeah, I know you don't like it, so you can put it if you like it. I
What's
love
that?
it. Feta.
Oh, you
Um,
don't like that?
you are not alone. My husband doesn't like it too.
Oh, really?
No, he doesn't. It's a challenge for me at home. When we make pizza, it's a totally different thing. Don't ask me about it. So I always tell him, it's not just you. I have one other person who is the same. And then half a cup of walnuts. I'm just going to. So walnuts have omega 3s in it. It's in the ALA form, which we will see. So all the walnuts go in there. I think I included everything, which is right. And then
What about the spinach?
that's the basil. It went in here.
Oh, it went in there.
Yeah. One more time. And yes, strong.
Yeah.
Strong. And on top of it, oh wow. And give it a stir, and I will let it do its magic.
Your class inspired me to make my own vinaigrette and to make salads, and I tried new vegetables.
Yeah, what?
And so I used lime,
Mm-hmm.
olive oil,
Mm-hmm.
honey,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole world of vegetables. The medley of the little tomatoes
Uh-huh.
and spinach,
Mm-hmm.
cucumber. It was just really good, and I threw some nuts on top.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so good. I was like, this is not me. Who am I?
You are becoming. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, new you, and it all comes from who am I becoming, and then that comes from the actions that you do every single time. That's how you become that new you. Totally.
Working.
It is. And then you will be like, who was that previous person? Hi.
Yeah, my mom thinks I'm the weirdest. She thinks I'm picky, but it's not that I'm picky. I just eat differently. You know, I eat salads just like that. And more chicken than meat, red meat, and she's just like.
So
We will encounter that.
we will allow.
For you to eat.
She'll eat a cake and just.
You see this?
Oh, looks delicious.
Right? We are going to set it aside for it to do its job.
So
Of
you had to kind of chop up the arugula.
arugula, no. I'm just kind of getting all the things together. But in that process, you know, there is acid, right? Lemon and then a little bit of vinegar, and mustard is also a little bit acidic, and that all kind of helps that greens to get a little softer, become more bioavailable when we eat, along with, you know, all the flavors basically. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here and then go to the omega 3 food sources. The best source of omega 3 is fish. And what are the varieties of fish available? There is freshwater fish, saltwater fish. What do you like from this? Not much.
Halibut. I like halibut. Lobster.
You like it? Yes. So those are the white fish basically, right? So pick what you like. There is shellfish, which is shrimp, prawns, crab, lobster, mussels, oysters, scallops, octopus. I don't know, but some people like it. It's part of that seafood. It's very prevalent, I think, in one of the Asian countries. I don't remember which one, but there are varieties for you to choose one. If you don't like one, look at another one, and they all have omega-3s in it. Just be mindful about certain fish that are high in mercury. Basically, the big fishes are high in mercury because they eat the small fishes. So swordfish, the big eye tuna, not the one that you get in the cans, the big eye tuna, shark, king mackerel and tilefish, they are a little higher in mercury. But other than that, choose the fish or the seafood you like and include it as part of your eating pattern. And what do they have? They are low in saturated fat naturally, right? And if you remember the first slide of that green and that recommendation, one of the recommendation is to go low on the saturated fat, and fish and seafood is by itself low in saturated fat. That way you don't have to worry about it. They are awesome sources of protein, very high in PUFAs or polyunsaturated fats. We will look at what they are. The EPA and DHA are two types of omega-3 fatty acids. They are very high in the oily fishes. Very good source of vitamin D, which we all need for bone health, right? So if you are incorporating fish twice a week, you will get that vitamin D too. Doesn't mean that if your provider has given you recommendation to have vitamin D as a supplement, you need to have that, but it's good to know that fish is also a good source of vitamin D, and it comes bundled with vitamins that we need for our cell health, to keep the inflammation down. There are chemical reactions where each of this play a role in helping that chemical reaction go on smoothly. I think that's the simplest way I can put it, right? What else? So what is the recommended amount? At least 8 ounces of seafood per week, which comes to, if you are having 4 ounces in a meal, 2 times in a week. If you are having 3 ounces, maybe 3 times a week, 9 ounces per week. Some cultures do have fish every day, either as part of lunch or as part of dinner. I had one of my clients say that she actually put it on top of her avocado toast, like small slices of salmon, and it was really good. So, be creative and see how you would like to include fish of your choice. Now, coming to that types of fats, right? We notice that fish and seafood is low in saturated fat. There are 3 types of fats that you might have heard about. That is saturated fat, trans fat, and then the unsaturated fats. It's basically the polyunsaturated fat and the monounsaturated fat. What are some food sources where you can find these fats? You definitely want to stay away from the trans fat and be curious about the saturated fat. Having red meat like once in a week, it's totally okay, right? The guidance is to have less than 10% of your calories per day as saturated fat. I am not a calorie counting person, nor do I ask my patients to do it unless they have end stage renal disease where it makes sense to track their proteins. But saturated fats will come usually from the fatty cuts of meat, basically, right? So what are some food sources where you can find unsaturated fats? Basically your polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. It's from the seeds, from olive oil, from avocado oil, from hemp seed oil, salmon. Those are your good fats that you want as part of your eating pattern, because they play a big role in keeping your inflammation levels low, play a big role in regulating your blood pressure, play a big role in bringing down your LDL, and also in regulating your triglycerides. The saturated fats are part of some very fatty meat cuts. The The striations that you see in the fat cut is basically that saturated fat. So you want to be mindful about it. Butter is one of the sources of saturated fat. Doesn't mean that you should not have butter. Butter, add it for flavor, right, whenever you're using it, but be mindful about the amount you use. Some cheeses have it. Again, we use cheese as flavoring if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to have cheese. Where does trans fat come from? It's basically in the fries that you get from fast food places, right? So no big servings of fries from fast food places. Make fries at home, do it in your air fryer, and it's very, very tasty, and season it in a way that you like, right? And none of those donuts, cookies and candies. Doesn't mean that you cannot enjoy it. Enjoyment is different from having donut for breakfast, right? I'll leave it at that point, basically. So as I mentioned, because of the nature of Mediterranean eating pattern, the way they set up their eating pattern, the essential fatty acids, which are basically your omega-3 and omega-6s, it's part of the Mediterranean eating pattern. Why are they called essential fatty acids? Because you have to eat it or you have to consume it for your body to get it, right? So the essential fatty acids are basically the omega-3s and omega-6, and it's from the food that you eat, meaning fish, nuts and seeds are the places from where you get your omega-3s. Your body can make fatty acids. It can make fatty acids from carbohydrates, from proteins, and also from other fats. So that's why there are some fatty acids that are non-essential fatty acids. You do need fatty acids for your overall health, for your cell structures. As I mentioned, you need cholesterol for your cell structure, and cholesterol is made from fatty acids, so you need good fats as part of your eating pattern. Fats are not something to run away from. Look for the good ones and incorporate it in your eating pattern, okay? And remember, I mentioned there are 3 types of omega-3s. There is EPA, there is DHA and ALA, okay? Not a science class, but just the basics. So if you look at fatty acids, there is unsaturated fat, saturated fat, and trans fat, right? Under unsaturated fats, you have polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. And then you have this essential fats and non-essential fats. And under essential fats are the omega-3s and omega-6s. And type of omega-3s is basically EPA, DHA, and ALA. EPA and DHA are basically from marine sources, basically your fish, and they are available in a form that your body is able to absorb it, right? But the ALA ones are basically from plants, so chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, they all have ALA, which is again a form of omega-3, but then your body needs to do some work to convert it into EPA and DHA, right? So the idea is have a variety of food. For example, in the morning, if you're having oatmeal, put some nuts into it, some hemp seeds into it, some flax seeds into it, include fish couple of times, and as I said, those omega-3s are known to reduce your LDL and triglycerides and keep your heart healthy, okay? So a quick small chemistry lesson there. This is again, as I mentioned, omega-3 fats reduce the risk of heart disease, even stroke, right? You want nice supple blood vessels. You don't want your blood vessels to get pinched, right? And when it gets pinched, then there is no blood flowing into your brain or to your heart, and that's when you get a stroke or a heart failure. So these are omega-3 fats are known to reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. And as I said before, these are the sources, so be sure to include it as part of your eating pattern. And this is a nice little chart. I get asked, how much does salmon have? How much does herring have? So this is a good chart to see how much omega-3s each of these foods have. So salmon has around 2 grams, herring has around 1.5 grams in 3 ounces of herring. Sardines, if you like, has around 900 milligrams of omega-3s. Chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds have that plant-based form, which is that ALA form, which needs to get converted into EPA and DHA. Omega-6s, our body wants it, but you don't need a lot of it. And I don't know, you might have read that the SAD diet, what is it's called, the standard American diet, it has a lot of omega-6s and less of omega-3s, because some of those foods are made with all vegetable oils, and in the SAD diet there is a lot of processed foods. So be curious and remove the processed foods from your eating pattern. I'm sure my divas are very mindful about that. So it's important to keep the omega-3 numbers up. There are blood tests that you can do to see how much omega-3 and omega-6 you have. Boston Heart Diagnostics has an omega check that you can request your provider to do to see how much omega-3 you have and omega-6 you have. If you have that balance out of place, you have the power to actually pull your omega-3s up by including fish, by including plant-based nuts and seeds as part of your eating pattern. That's the crux of here. How much we need every day? Around 1 to 2 gram per day. PUFAs and MUFAs is the big term for omega-3s. Okay, so currently research says that we Americans have more of omega-6s and less of omega-3, and they want this ratio to go to this. Right, so if you are if for someone who eats fast food 3 times a day, right, their range will be somewhere here, which means they have more of those pro-inflammatory fatty acids and less of the anti-inflammatory fatty acids. Right, so that's the ratio, and the recommendation is by including more of this, you can start moving towards the 1:4 ratio, because omega-3s are known to keep your blood vessels and your heart nice and healthy. Go ahead.
Omega-6 is what you're saying is corn oil, soybeans?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so if there is vegetable oils in your home, take a hard look and olive oil is not vegetable oil. Vegetable oils are basically made from, it's processed a lot, it's exposed to heat. Olive oil is basically fruit oil in some way, and they do not, it's not processed via heat. It is cold pressed. The refined olive oil, there is some processing in there, but EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, is cold pressed. There is no chemical in that process. But vegetable oils, there is a lot of chemicals there. So
omega-3 is good.
Yes.
Omega-6 is
not, yeah, it's not bad.
but it's not the best.
It's not, we do need it, but it,
Seed oil?
huh?
Sesame seed?
That's okay. It's not, and look for the extra virgin sesame seed oil. There are
Omega-3 is good, and omega-6 is whatever. Why do they want you to have 4 to 1?
4 of this and 1 of this. I think I should have put this one here and this one here then.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Currently we're doing
20 of this and 1 of this. Okay. They want like more of this and less of this, basically.
4 to 1.
Yeah, okay. That's the idea. More of omega-3, less of omega-6. We do need omega-6, but we need more of omega-3. That's the idea. Okay. So even grass-fed ground beef does have EPA, doesn't have DHA, right? It does have 9 milligrams. If you see salmon, that has the highest EPA, DHA, 733 and 935. Walnuts have only ALA because it's plant-based. So some idea of which food has which fatty acid in some sense. Okay.
You do need to have like a little bit of each, right, in order for it to be balanced. Because that's where I get confused. I was told I should get a fish oil from my doctor, family doctor, right? And he's a he. So she told me to get the cold press. They may be a little bit more expensive. I go and look, and I have not seen anything that says cold pressed. And so if anybody knows of some good omega
Fish oil?
recommendations,
Yeah, like I went for the talk with the breakfast with the doc last year, where Dr. Amy Lang did a presentation. She recommended Nordic Naturals. It's a good brand of fish oil, and then 2000 milligram. It's available there. So if you want to have a good brand, Nordic Naturals is a good brand recommended by a doctor. But if she recommended, she recommended it to you, right?
she didn't tell me what brand. She just said
Fish oil.
fish oil and cold pressed. That's the best way to go.
So Nordic Naturals is, I think, third party tested, and it comes from salmon, I think, which is wild caught or wild fish. So it is from a good source of fish if you want to have it, right? So you're welcome. And then how does omega-3s help to reduce inflammation? It actually competes with that pro-inflammatory fats and damp it down. It helps, when there are those inflammatory signals happening, it helps to damp it down. It helps in turning that switch off, resolving the inflammation, and having the soldiers or the fire department go back to their home. And by doing all of this, it helps support heart health, brain health, and metabolic health as well. Right? So include omega-3s as part of your eating pattern, walnuts, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, fish, even some grass-fed ground beef, having variety as part of your eating pattern, right? So how does Mediterranean diet ultimately help you with inflammation? It comes from the phytochemicals, the colors. And if we reflect back to the color here, we have green, we have that blue, which is, blueberries have anthocyanins. The greens, cruciferous, they have beta carotenoids, and also, sulforaphane in there, purple. And then there is quinoa, red and white quinoa, a good source of protein. I think you would see here a PS at the end. If you want extra protein, add fish, chicken, chickpeas, black beans for extra protein to this, and make it a power meal for you in some way, right? And we discussed, what a day of Mediterranean way of eating looks like. So per week, 2+ servings of fish, which amounts to that 8 ounces of fish per week. What else? 1 to 2 servings of nuts per day, and all of you have a thumbs up there, right? Lots of veggies per meal, at least 2 types per meal. Having a fruit with your meal, a serving of grain. We have quinoa here as a whole grain today. Olive oil at every meal. Our dressing has extra virgin olive oil today. So it's very easy to implement a Mediterranean way of eating. It's simple way of nourishing yourself. There is no complication there. We discussed some sample meals, the last 2 classes, and you can see how simple it is, right? There is no mix that with this and this and this. No, it's very, 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 very simple there. And foods of interest for today, arugula. It is a Mediterranean powerhouse. Provides sulforaphane, vitamin A, K, C, and lot of minerals for strong bones, calcium, potassium. Very high in antioxidants, and as I said before, does support heart health, bone strength, because it has a lot of calcium in it. I had one of our divas in the morning ask that she cannot have milk, so what else sources have calcium? All the cruciferous vegetables have a lot of calcium in it, and of course, if you need a little bit more, ask your provider and they'll be able to recommend a calcium supplement for you, especially because as breast cancer thrivers, we need our bones to be supported. But your Arugula has a lot of calcium in it, and it's a staple in Mediterranean cuisine. And as I mentioned before, I love the peppery taste of arugula, right? And then basil, it has again antioxidants, lot of flavor, anti-inflammatory. It does help with digestion too. Right, there is basil tea available there, or if you just want to boil some basil in plain water, it can help with any digestive issues you may have, and it blends very easily into salads, into sauces, and pesto, basil pesto, similar to kale pesto that we made in one of the previous classes. It's very easy to incorporate that flavor and the benefits of basil. A quick all pass quiz. Name 2 types of fatty acids.
EPA and ALA.
Okay. EPA, DHA, ALA. You can even say monounsaturated fatty acid, polyunsaturated fatty acids, right? Yeah, you got into the basics. Very good about that. Identify 2 ways to incorporate omega 3s. How would you incorporate it? What are some foods that have? Uh-huh.
Nuts, seeds.
Yes, nuts, seeds, fish, basically. What's your favorite salad? Share with us. Anything? Any of your? You mentioned a favorite salad that you put together.
Sorry.
Totally.
That one's my. It's up there, but I also love Wendy's. What was it? Oh, apple pecan. Oh yes, it's really good. It's really
Yeah.
good. And it has
Raspberry vinaigrette, wasn't it? Or something
with the raspberry vinaigrette. Yes.
Yeah, so even when you eat out, great job there, look for it. It is still possible to eat the Mediterranean way when you eat out, which is the topic of our discussion for next week. Thank you for coming, and are you ready to taste it? Yay! And actions for upcoming week. Yes, action for upcoming week. Everything remains. Add salad to your dinner. And if you are feeling adventurous, to your lunch as well, fish at least once a week. That's your actions for this upcoming week. And I'll see you next week. The topic is how to be Mediterranean even when eating out. We will explore some menus of some restaurants and see how you can set yourself up for the Mediterranean way of eating. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Field trip to the